Live from the Crazy Cap Studios, this is Fairy Found News. I am your host, Jaden, aka Slime Boss, and tonight's top stories: Nintendo does another bad, and gaming servers are shutting down. Before we get into that, let's talk about this week's sponsors, quote unquote. They're not actually sponsored. The first of which is Dubby. We've been an affiliate with them for quite a while. You can find our link in the description below, w.gg/crazycap, or you can use our code crazycap at checkout to receive 10% off. By doing that, you're helping support us, you're helping support Dubby grow. And yeah, I recently finally ordered my first batch of Dubby, so I'll be able to tell you guys how it is on this show. I haven't received it just yet, but I was hoping that I would get it before this, but I did not. But it's coming soon, and I will be doing probably a separate video, and then I will literally be able to hold the product for you starting next week. So be excited for that. Next up, we didn't have a new episode this week, so I'm going to be shouting out our Discord server. You can check it out always in the link description below. You can find lots of great people to chat with and potentially even come on as a guest on a future episode. And finally, this show cannot be possible without your help by leaving comments, likes, and subscribing, as well as leaving comments about what type of news you want to see next or what you want me to cover in a future episode. All help support the channel, as well as our Patreon. Our Patreon, even the $1 tier, not only are you helping us grow, but you're also getting access to exclusive content that we post over there. So thank you guys so much, and none of this would be possible without you guys. Anyway, let's get into last week's recap, where we had three pretty big events. First of all, the State of Play, which is just kind of mid all around. We got the confirmation of the Horizon remake and a new Astrobot DLC, which I'm absolutely excited for. Next up is Minecraft Live, which finally established a good flow for at least the live show. We're going to be getting another one here in a couple of months at the top of the year. And then we also got the showing of a new update with the Creaking Mob. Not super excited for the update itself, but as far as we know, there's going to be more updates throughout the year, so that'll be a lot of fun. And then finally, the Sonic Central, which didn't really have any big new news. I feel like the State of Play had more Sonic news than the actual Sonic Central, but I'm sure there was a money reason behind why they needed to do that. And yeah, that's pretty much last week's recap. Let's get into this week's video game releases. The three major titles this week was the Until Dawn remake. I'm surprised this game is even getting a remake in the first place. I know that studio is working on another big game coming out pretty soon. But when it first got announced, I heard it was a big deal, and I didn't even know it came out today, so I don't know what happened there. Similar story with the Silent Hill 2 remake. I did see this one, but I heard people are boycotting it. But I feel like that's with every game, but I guess people just really want a new Silent Hill game. And finally, the Patrick Star game. This is something that I can actually talk about. I was really excited for the SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom remake. I unfortunately soured myself on the SpongeBob license games because I had played it through all in one stream on a 24-hour stream that doesn't even exist on YouTube anymore because the stream didn't actually work, and no one told me that the stream wasn't working. So that's been a lot of fun. Thanks guys. So I'm not blaming my chat, obviously, but I didn't even know the stream wasn't really running, and I literally streamed for 12 hours and I didn't know and I was so pissed and so soured. So I was kind of hoping that they would remake the movie game, and then they came out with the Cosmic Shake, which I still haven't played yet, and now they're already on another SpongeBob game. So I'm excited that there's more new and actually good SpongeBob games, unlike the weird little era that we were in the the 2010s there, so I'm at least glad for that. But like, I haven't even caught up with them, unfortunately. All right, well, this is already going so much more quickly. I can't wait for Nintendo to finally unveil the Switch 2 because we'll actually have more to talk about. We have literally nothing to talk about this week. First off, I think the biggest piece of news is that Nintendo strikes again and sues or sends a cease and desist to Ryujinx and also takes down a ton of emulation tutorial videos. I don't know too much about the tutorial videos, but I did have a long conversation with one of my friends about Ryujinx. This is not good for the emulation space. Obviously, it makes some semblance of sense because Nintendo is a business and they don't want this ruining their business in any way, even if it doesn't actually affect them in any way. The problem is usually they take down people that end up having some sort of monetary value, which is what happened with Yuzu. They ended up taking on the monetary, and then they caught him, and that's how the story goes. This time there was a completely independent developer. I think it was literally one dude, and didn't ask for any money from anybody, and he just got struck. Personally, my opinion on this is that Nintendo has this very specific narrative that they're going to stick with. And something that I found out by watching a Did You Know Gaming video is that back in the day, other video game developers had a very similar initiative and narrative that they were going toward, trying to say that used games or secondhand game selling was illegal because you couldn't secondhand sell movies, so why would you be able to secondhand sell video game? And so they believe that the whole used market was illegal. That fell through. But now, in 2024, Nintendo believes that all emulation is illegal. Obviously, the act of pirating games is illegal, right? Because you have to buy it, right? But the act of creating an emulator and actually having an emulator isn't illegal. I mean, Nintendo themselves have an emulator built into the Switch. So, it's not that the act of emulation is illegal, it's the piracy of game. But that's not the narrative that they're sticking with. They believe that all emulation is illegal. This was in the court documents for the Yuzu case, and now it just makes more sense with the takedown of Ryujinx here. What doesn't quite make any sense is the takedown of emulation videos. Not many people have been talking about this, but Moist Critical covered how they're actually taking down videos of people trying to show how to emulate or download emulators or whatever, which is something new, and these types of videos have been around forever. These types of videos have been around since the dawn of YouTube, so why they're taking them down now is very interesting. We unfortunately have to see where this goes, but I kind of forgot about this because I was trying to look for news today, and I was like, man, there's like nothing. But literally hours after this happened, Nintendo decided to release a pretty big deal, and that is both F-Zero GP Legend, which is the F-Zero game that we got on Game Boy Advance, as well as F-Zero Climax, the Japanese exclusive F-Zero game, as well as a very big update, which they don't even show on their YouTube channel. A huge update for F-Zero 99, which includes the unreleased BS Satellaview tracks. What the fuck? Like, this is huge for F-Zero fans. I'm not a huge F-Zero fan, but, like, this is massive news. And they're doing this so that they can cover up for their emulation business. We know this for a fact because now when you type in Nintendo emulation, you'll be like, oh wait, NSO has you're emulating Game Boy games on NSO. So not a good look on Nintendo's part for them to do that pretty much hours after, especially because this is a big deal. Not only are we getting a Japanese exclusive game, a game that we haven't played before, but we're also getting F-Zero mentioned at all, period. This is a big deal for F-Zero fans. And then finally, getting the BS Satellaview tracks, which were not only available in Japan, but also only available for a limited time. They were only available while the Satellaview service was going on. So getting this is huge, and I'm guessing once the Nintendo Switch servers shut down, you'll obviously lose access to them. But this is big right now because a lot of Western gamers never got to play those exclusive tracks. So this is huge, and it's good. I'm glad that they're doing it, but they're very clearly trying to cover up for whatever happened earlier that day with Rejig. So not good all around. I mean, I don't really know what to say. I don't emulate Switch. It's the most recent console. I have no reason to emulate that. And even if that was the last Nintendo Switch emulator, there's always going to be another person to pick up the mantle. There's already like forks of Citra and Yuzu already. So it's not like the emulation is going to go anywhere unless Nintendo really does drive this home and convince even the Western government that emulation is illegal, which I highly doubt is going to happen. So, yes, it's sad, but it's a small casualty in a pretty big war that's going on, and I'm like 99% sure that the fans will win this one. Next up, we had a lot of shutdowns here in the U.S. just around services, network services shutting down, and I personally wasn't affected by it too much, but apparently it was a much bigger deal. A lot of people have a tinfoil hat that has to do with politics, but I'm not going to step into that space. But the thing that did affect us as gamers is that both the Sony PlayStation Network servers got shut down, and then immediately following the Xbox servers got shut down. So yeah, looked like it was just a part of this whole thing where everyone was having an issue. I think it was a case of a hacking situation. Not really 100% sure on that. But at first I was like, oh, why can't I access my trophies while I was playing the Plucky Squire this week? And come to find out, they were just having some issues. Apparently they're back online now, so that's all fine and good. But yeah. And literally, for lack of not having any other news, the last bit of news for this week is literally a big Fortnite event happened today. A pretty big event happened in Fortnite today. And it was the end of Doom. Doom has now been defeated, so now we're getting ready to see what happens lore-wise going into Chapter 2 OG. So it was such a light news week that there's not really much to cover. But anyways, that's going to do it for today. Again, this would usually be the section where I would read the comments and you guys tell me what to cover. So leave a comment. Come on, let's do it. But that's going to pretty much do it for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Dubby. Thank you guys. Join the Discord. Help us out over on Patreon. You know the drill already. Like, comment, and subscribe. All that jazz. Thank you guys so much for watching. And this has been Fairy Fountain News. I have been your host, Jaden, aka Slime Boss, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.